Hey everybody, good morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm Nick from Defined Life, and this is our daily Define My Day session. Um, Today's going to be pretty quick. I got a crazy morning, been running since the time I woke up. I'm a couple of minutes late today because my youngest it's his last day of kindergarten today, and so he's saying goodbye to all of his classmates, and they had a 10 o'clock video session with his teacher and all of his classmates. So they're doing their thing, saying goodbye to everybody, and I was trying to get him, uh, make him aware that this is actually it. Like this is a moment. Like this is the last time you're gonna see a lot of these kids. This is probably the last time you're gonna see your teacher. So just trying to get that clear to him without being too sappy about it. Just trying to get him situated. But for the most part, today for me is loose ends and a lot of housework, a lot of things around the house, uh, and just a lot going on. A lot going on. I hear him opening the door, so something might be wrong. What's up, bud?
Are we planning anything this summer?
Are we planning anything?
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry. Why do you need to know for your class?
Yeah.
No, we don't have anything planned. We're just gonna sit at home and enjoy. And well, we have to like,
But we can plan during the pool.
yeah. No, we're just gonna sit at home and hang out and meet new people.
Alright.
All right. Sorry. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So we're like just talking about the end of the school year. Nicholas, the older one, is over at the old house. Apparently, the teachers have a drive-by scheduled, so they're driving around to each kid's house to say goodbye, which I thought was pretty nice too. So that's it. That's it for the school year. So now at least we had some support trying to give them things to do. Now we have to come up with it all on our own. So good luck with that. Um, so how is everybody? How you all doing? How you all doing? I'm gonna check out the comments here real quick. Pam, good morning. Happy Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Janice. Good morning. You placed an order last night. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Amy. And good morning, Kathy. Good to see you guys. Good to see you all. Yesterday's session was pretty good. All from me really not knowing anything, just asking a question. See, that's some. You guys are as good at this as I am. To next week, what I have planned for next week is we're going to go into health. It's a subject we really haven't touched on in a while, and I think we need to circle back to it. Yeah, maybe for a little bit for myself, but for everybody, especially the people that may be new to the overall situation here, the Define My Day process. So next week's going to be physical health, and maybe a little bit of why it's important, but I think a lot of us already know that. So it's also going to be about like tactics to make it just a little bit easier. We're going to talk about why it's hard for people to make certain changes. As we get older, our bodies don't want, like, same as we talked about yesterday. Like, change is hard, and the body physically does not want to change a lot of times. So we're going to get into all that stuff. Certain things, why they're important, why they are pre-planned disciplines for Define My Day. Like, it's a planner. Why should we even talk about this kind of stuff? So we'll answer those questions. And then the following week, we're going to go into mental health and mental things that we go through. So we'll talk about those two things over the next 2 weeks. Um, Sunday, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow, just way too much stuff going on. But Sunday, my plan is to be live on the Nick Boris page, like my personal Facebook page, which is facebook.com/defined life. And I will be there, and we will be talking about what's going on in the world. So if you're a Define My Day fan, but don't want to talk about anything outside of Define My Day, Sunday is probably not for you. If you do want to have a conversation about what's going on in the world, from leadership to race relations, we are going to touch on that. I'm certainly not an expert, but I think that in each corner of our worlds, we have to start having conversations about it, or we're going to ignore it, and it's going to turn into a mess. So we're going to take Brene Brown's advice and rumble with vulnerability. We're going to have some conversations. So, barring any kind of goofy thing that might happen on Sunday. And then again, the schedule for the physical and mental health conversations over the next 2 weeks, that's barring anything else doesn't happen. I don't have a meme for today to put up here, but I did see a meme a couple of weeks ago where it was like a cartoon of like aliens, and there was a director with like a mic and a headset and a clipboard, and he's saying, "Okay, you're up." And the aliens going, "Oh crap, I'm really nervous," like because it's their turn to come down and destroy 2020. And but we funny, but I mean a lot of this stuff is serious now, right? I mean, coronavirus was a big deal, but now we have a lot of serious things going on. So we'll talk about that on Sunday and how maybe we can do a little bit better in our own personal spaces. Angel says, I'm signing my daughter up for some online activities this summer. One thing will be an online orchestra group so that she can continue to grow her skills as a violinist. That's awesome. That's awesome. So Lynn downloaded, we moved our old piano to this house last week, and Lynn downloaded an app for the iPad that teaches the kids how to play something and then listens to see if they're playing it properly. It's a pretty cool app. So we can't. I don't think we're going to bring a piano teacher in here, but we at least have this to get started. So I thought that was pretty cool. I respect people who can play instruments because I never had the patience for it or the discipline. And while I might like to pick it up now, there's too many things that I want to be able to do, and I'm trying to pick and choose which things I take up to try to be at least an amateur at. And unfortunately, I think playing an instrument right now is not on the top of the list. But that may change. We'll see how time goes. But to before I go into Pam's comment, Angel, to your point, so that's what's hard about this summer. So last year, my boys were signed up for day camps at the park. My other son played. He was in a baseball camp. There was always something that we had the opportunity to get them to do. And some things are opening up now, but for the most part, it's all still pretty closed. And I'm not really ready, even if they were open, I don't think I'm ready to get them out there. And my father even postponed a trip that he was going to make up here this summer just because he's not, and he's been more on the kind of side of it, but he's still not really ready to make that trip. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how the summer goes. I'm going to have to really segment some time off, structure their days, where they have mornings where they're off doing their own thing, and then like we spend an hour or two together in the middle of the day, and then I go back to work and they go back to doing some other things, and then maybe if they meet some kids in the neighborhood and they can hang out with them a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. This summer's going to be, now that we've lost the last remaining structure from school, we'll see with this. The summer could be a challenge. Pam says, yesterday I mentioned the 10% happier live meditations with Dan Harris. Well, today is the last one. What the heck are the odds? Sorry, I didn't know that when I brought it up. That's okay. So, I think it's useful either way. And I think that, the meditations are great. The live meditations are great. But a lot of times we just want to do it on demand. Headspace does do live group meditations in the morning. I think it happens at 7 in the morning. I've never done one yet. I always just do the pre-recorded ones. But, I appreciate you offering it up. And if you see it again, please let us know. And I'll try to keep an eye on it myself. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning. Angel says there are teachers that are working with kids through Skype. And that's what they're doing now. In fact, he's on a Google Hangout right now. But I'm not aware of any of them that are working over the summer. At least it hasn't been offered yet. But it's great if you have that opportunity. Oh, and you're talking about the music teacher. So your daughter's violin coach is currently in New Zealand. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hold on, I got a sniff coming. I got to mute you. All right. Allergies better, but still kicking. We had a crazy rainstorm yesterday, and I was kind of hoping it would like wash the pollen off of the surfaces and get it out. But today, just doing a little bit of cleanup outside, sweeping and stuff. Not good for me. It's not good for me. I really recommend seeing if there are online opportunities for the boys. We're gonna have to. It's. I appreciate it. It's absolutely necessary, and we haven't been because of the move. We're a little bit behind the eight ball with it, but now like this reality of like, oh my goodness, it's over. Like this is it. We're gonna have to get on the ball with it. What's up, bud?
Plan out going camping.
Who's going camping?
All of us.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, we can probably plan doing that.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that. All right. So apparently we're gonna go camping this summer. Um, Sis says, I think it's great for kids to learn to entertain themselves without electronics. Bored is an attitude. So here's what happens, Sis. I agree with you. When we take away the electronics that feed into the brain, right? Things happen. Opportunities happen. I even see it between us and the kids. So, oh, sorry, I'm really itchy. Um, when we take the boys away from well, first of all, I'll tell you this: there have been days where they've been straight wall to wall electronics all day, except for meals, where they would wake up and get on their stuff and go through the entire day, and by the end of the day, they're having freaking meltdowns because their brains can't handle it anymore. That doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it does. And so, what we try to do is create these like blocks of time where they can spend a couple hours on the electronics and they spend a couple hours away, and we're trying to expand the couple hours away. Now that we're in a neighborhood where they can ride their bikes, Ryan just got a scooter, so they're going to be outside more doing that. Um, and what happens when you take them away from the electronics, that sort of push of information, they have to then do something else. And they might kick and scream for 10, 20 minutes. I've talked to other people that whose kids go have freaking meltdowns for an hour. But after that meltdown's over, if you can ride through that, amazing things happen. They start to read, which is amazing. If I can get my kids to open a book, they don't put it down until it's finished. Harry Potter, that whole series was done like that. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, done like that, right? We went through those as soon as this whole school at home thing started. They were reading books like crazy. No, we don't have any left. Um, the playing together, they come up with games, and I remember as a child, I was left outside too long by myself. I mean, I was literally like put outside. I don't want to see you again until it's time for dinner. That's too much, right? That's neglect, debatably. Um, but I was creative about it, right? I caught animals, snakes in particular, insects. I started fires with um, what do you call it? Magnifying glasses. I did creative things with cars in the backyard, trucks. I had a tadpole farm that I had tadpoles and I would get frogs and I rode my bike around the neighborhood. Like I did a lot of things out of necessity because I was just outside, right? And so while I don't want my kids to be like out there and just like nobody ever talking to them, I do want them to be out there and have to think for themselves and come up with things creatively. So, it's nice when you see them out there. I bought a basketball hoop for the boys in the driveway, and they're out there just throwing the basketballs around. And a lot of times they're fighting because they're 4 years apart in age, and the old one and the young one don't always get along together, and they're not on the same level. But they come up with games, and it's nice. The other day, in fact, it was yesterday, the day before, I just put the sprinkler outside, and the young one was saying he was hot and he needed something cold, so I put the sprinkler outside, and he giggled like a goofball for 30 minutes. And I was watching him out the window here, and he giggled like a weirdo for 30 minutes running through the sprinkler. I'm spraying himself in the face, getting himself in the armpits. Um, it was all sorts of goofy stuff, and he just had a blast. So, we can like just like give them a ball and see what happens and let them be creative with it. And we're missing a lot of that when we just let them drool in front of the TV for too long. Um, and that happens with us as a family. We have a rule where we don't pick up our phones at the dinner table. And we've been trying to create more space with no electronics where we sit and talk, and funny things happen. We started playing Uno before we moved, right? And Lynn won like 4 games in a row, and everybody's yelling at her and all mad at her because she won 4 in a row and she's cheating and everything else. And those moments don't happen if we're all stuck on our phone looking at our phones. We blocked off an hour to play Uno, which is a terrible game in my opinion, but we enjoyed ourselves and had a family moment. And even like sitting at the table after dinner, like Lynn's Italian family, I mean, they're off the boat Italian, and they'll sit and eat fruit or desserts or put out cookies and coffee, espresso, whatever, after dinner, and they just sit and talk. Us, my boys can't wait to get up and go back to their PlayStations, right? Or PlayStation or iPad, whatever. Where we have to like slow it down. Like, no, we're going to sit here and we're going to hang out. We're not going to run off. Even like Lynn's favorite pastime is to watch a movie together. And while that's okay, doing any of that too much, I want more like, let's sit and talk. Like, let's not have something to do. Let's just sit out on the back patio and talk, right? And maybe, things happen, like creative things happen. Maybe a light bug flies by and we start talking about that, or whatever. What did I say? A lightning bug? Did I say that properly? I don't know if I did. But anyway, you know what I mean. Um, but so, when you're out and available and, thinking creatively and letting your brain wake up, things happen. That's why, from a mental health standpoint, maybe this is something we talk about in a couple of weeks. Don't always fill the gaps with this, right? Don't always fill in the gaps of time with distraction. Whether it's TV, whether it's internet, whether it's whatever. Allow there to be space to just do things or do nothing, right? Excuse me 1 second. My nose is running. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry. It's like crazy. I can't handle it. I can't wait till this is over. Um, but I think we have to fill those gaps of time. Like we feel like we have to fill it up with just looking at our phone or always getting some like dopamine hit. And when you just look around and it gives you the time to be mindful. And really, it is. It's giving yourself space to be mindful. And even myself, like when I'm doing that and I'm looking around, and if I'm just sitting in my room or sitting in my office and I'm looking around and I see something out of place, that 2 minutes, 3 minutes of putting things back into their place, putting things into order feels so good. It feels cathartic. So, I don't always rush back to electronics. But if you have kids, it's the same thing. You gotta, um, you know, make them like suffer through the pain of the tantrum and make them then go figure things out and be creative for themselves. Just there's things going on in here, and if we're just feeding them electronics all the time, feeding them distraction, they're gonna have a hard time breaking away from that. Uh, where are we? Good morning, Melissa. Headspace offers live meditations throughout the day. So I didn't know that. I thought it was only in the morning. So good. When you open the app, it will tell you when the next live meditation will be. Cool. Good. Thank you, Carrie. Being bored is a good thing. It encourages creativity. Exactly. So myself in my own childhood, I had a little too much, right? I was a little bit too much in my own head. Again, you need a good balance of, being with others, being alone, being bored. Like, right? It makes you think, right? If you can't start sparking ideas, when you're always at the whim of whatever like video game is telling you what to do, yeah, it's just not a good habit. It's a lot of the problem a lot of us are in now is that we're in the habit of reacting to stimulus rather than thinking and creating. Apparently, we have that twice. Janice says, "Get a dirt pile, boys and girls, hours of play." When homeschooling started, I was fighting the dirt and work. So, Janice, you actually, I am getting a dirt pile. We have areas of the yard that need to be, like we had to grade it away from the house and all that sort of stuff. So, you just reminded me that's something on my list of things to do today. I need to order a dirt pile and have it delivered to the driveway. And that's something the boys are going to be helping me with next week is moving dirt. And they can plan it, right? They have a lot of trucks and things. It'll be a great time. Can't wait. Libraries need to open. I know. I know. We've been ordering things from Amazon. Thankfully, it's not children's books aren't too expensive, like $10. But when they're reading, they can go through one a day, so that gets be a little bit pricey. So if we had a library, that would be great. And it's not the same when you're like, even for them, it's not the same trying to read it on an iPad. It's not the same. Physically having it in your hands, completely different experience. If they have not read them, the Wonder books are amazing. I'll have to look at that. I've not heard of them. I need an alarm telling me when these start. So this app that I have now, I can't schedule them. And if the other way we have of doing this, but it only allows us to broadcast on one channel, I can schedule it ahead of time and it will remind you, like you'll get a reminder every day. But we're here every day, 10 o'clock Eastern. So if you set an alarm, like you can say it right now, Siri set an alarm for 10 o'clock every day, and then it'll just bing, bing, and let you know. My boys love it when they beat me in any game. We did too. So the first day that Lynn beat us in Uno four times in a row, we all beat her the next day, and everybody had a blast. The boys like couldn't breathe; they were laughing so hard. It was pretty funny. Kristen says we just bought a patio swing for evening chats. Every night after dinner, we go out to our patio as a family and listen to music and just hang out. Yeah, so that's what we've been trying to do. We haven't been doing it in the past week, but like I'll grab a bowl of peanuts and we'll sit outside, or a bowl of cherries. We have a little mini fridge that I used to have in my office. We put that on the back patio. So I have a beer and we have some Cokes out there. Um, so it's nice. We have this. It's this little screened in area, so we don't have to worry about bugs anymore. We couldn't go out in our old place ever because like the mosquitoes just came, and no matter how much I sprayed and got rid of any kind of damp areas, the mosquitoes were just around. So this now at least it's screened in, and we don't have that issue. So we're trying to make it a nice, pleasant space. I went out and bought like the Edison bulbs, the LED Edison bulbs, and we hung them around, and it's a nice space. And I got a nice fire pit too, so we can throw some wood back there. All the furniture that we're destroying, that we're throwing away, we can put that in the fire pit and burn it in the fire pit. All kind of good, fun stuff. Debbie, you got several jigsaw puzzles. Put one on an extra table and left it. Anytime I'm somewhat bored, I put a few pieces of it together. It could be 10 minutes or 2 hours. It all depends on the day. And that's good, actually. So my wife and I took a vacation. It was I think a Christmas gift or a Valentine's Day gift to a really nice bed and breakfast about 2 or 3 hours away from here. And in the lobby of this hotel, they always had a jigsaw puzzle, and you could just walk by and put a couple pieces together. And we thought that was pretty cool. So we broke out a couple of puzzles and tried to get the kids into it. Lynn actually ended up doing them all. The kids would not do it. They hate puzzles. And I don't know if it's just because it's something that they're not used to. I grew up with them. but I don't know. The kids just didn't like it. But that's a great idea if you have the space. Maybe with other neighborhoods. I'm sorry, I can't see what that's with, so I don't know what that's referencing. Maybe a neighborhood book exchange, cleaning them with wipes, of course. Oh, so Amy, we actually looked at a house. One of the houses we looked at had a library box in their front yard, where it was like a little wooden, like a gigantic wooden mailbox with a sliding door, and there were books in it. And and they just basically said, take what you want, drop off what you want. We've seen other neighborhoods would have a pantry like that too, like with canned goods and stuff. But I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Don't necessarily know that I would want it in my front yard, but it's a good idea. That's so nice. I would love a screened-in porch. We love our fire pit too. Marshmallows. Yeah, so that's actually the problem for me is that I can go to the fire pit and not have a s'more unless everybody else around me is having s'mores. And so my wife and the kids love s'mores, so every day we go out there, they have to have s'mores. So then I have to have a s'more because I can't fight it. But yeah, screened in is one. It was on my wish list for sure. Sis says, "Oh yeah, when the kids say they don't want to do puzzles, but stop by to do a few pieces." Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like when it's a commitment, and you have to sit and do it. And it's very much how I handle how I handle reading. Right? I'll leave a book laying around, and when I have a few, I'm sorry for the sniffling. When I have a few moments, I'll read a couple of pages and get up and go and do other things. It's the same thing with the puzzle. Usborne Books and More has books and more that aren't just anywhere. Axel and Beast is a series my youngest reading and loves. C9688.myubam.com, by the way. Cool. Thank you, Janice. Debbie, my grandson never seen Lincoln Logs, so we bought him some for him, and he absolutely loves them. He's at 7, still asks for the logs. We also added Lego time too for him as he got older. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm so congested right now. This is really obnoxious. I feel like it is anyway. But so Debbie, Lincoln Logs I loved as a kid also, and I never thought about that for our boys. I don't see them, so I don't think about it. They love Legos, and when they have that time to do Legos, it's great. They're really expensive, and you can spend 50 to $100 on a Lego set that they go through in a day. So that's but they don't do like you can't dump a bucket of Legos on them and say build something. They won't do that. They like following the instructions. Miss my screen in porch when it's raining. Yeah, I do. I love sitting outside during a thunderstorm as long as it's not blowing in, right? One more big sniff. Okay. I'm struggling here. Julie says we love playing Uno, but like to change the rules once in a while for variety. Sometimes we say you can take the card below the top one on the discard pile instead of having the lowest number in the first slot, have it be the highest. Very cool. Yeah, you can change up a lot of stuff like that. One game that maybe they're old enough to play now is Monopoly. We have a couple of Monopoly games. They don't like things like Candyland because it's too simple. It's too immature for them. But I'm wondering if Monopoly would be good. Tinker Toys is another one, right? I used to have erector sets when I was a kid. I used to build all sorts of stuff. Yeah, change the rules, right? Sometimes you have to do a dance before rolling the dice for Yahtzee. Sorry, suffering here, guys. Suffering. All right, you know what? Maybe I should go because I'm not really gonna make it through here. I'm not bothering you. I feel like I am. And I'm starting to get to the point now where I can't even concentrate. So I apologize for that. Yeah, I hope I will feel better. But all of you have a great day. Do Hope you're doing well, and I hope you move forward today. See, I can't even talk now. I can't even think straight. The sinus pressure is killing me. Um, I won't be here tomorrow, but we will try to be on the facebook.com/defined life page on Sunday, and we'll talk about what's going on the world right now. And then again, Monday next week we'll start physical health, and then the week after that we'll do mental health. So I hope everybody's doing well, and thank you all for the good wishes. I will feel better. It's just I'm having an allergy attack right now, so I apologize for that. But everybody have a great Friday night, Saturday. I hope your weekend is safe and healthy, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.